Hey, what's up guys? Power Rangers / Super Sentai News here, back with another video, and today I wanted to give my thoughts on the 30th anniversary special, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always, which was released on Netflix today, Wednesday, April 19th, 2023, and just give my thoughts on it and what I thought of the overall story and how the characters were handled. And I gotta say, I love this special. It was like watching the original series over again. Basically, for those that don't know the story goes like this. Basically, an evil version of Rita, who is a robot, is somehow returned. Like, the evil version of Rita returns in a robot body and basically has this evil plan to open a time portal and go back in time and basically erase 30 years of history and so that she can rule the world. And basically the Power Rangers have to stop her. That's the whole story. And it's got all that cheese from the original series. It's still cheesy, but it also deals with, it gets serious, it gets emotional. So it's a good balance of both, and that comes in with just everything with the characters and how things are handled. I gotta say, when it comes to characters, it is fantastic seeing all the old actors come back. Billy and Zach come back, Rocky and Kat come back, and then also Aisha and Adam make a quick cameo. And it's great seeing them, especially Zach and Billy, David Yost, and Walter Emmanuel Jones. It is incredible seeing them back, especially due to the real-world reasons for their departure. It's just incredible after 30 years, finally having them come back and kind of seeing where these characters have been all that time, because we haven't really seen Zach and Billy since they have both left their respective series. And then of course, obviously Rocky and Kat come back. Rocky and Kat have appeared before. They both appeared in the Ninja Steel Dimensions in Danger episode, but it's always good seeing them come back. But of course, Zach and Billy were the standouts. And obviously, due to real-world circumstances, Jason, Tommy, and Kimberly, they appear in the special, but they do not appear unmorphed due to real-world circumstances. We all know what those circumstances are, so I'm not going to get into that. But of course, it's sad not seeing them unmorphed, but they were able to still include them, and the way they did, I thought, was really well done. And also Trini, the Yellow Ranger, rest in peace to Twee Trang, and basically her and Trini as well. The whole character is the whole story is based around the character of Trini, and what happens to her is the whole kind of catalyst for the rest of the special. So so let's just kind of get into what I liked about it. And there's very little bad thing. There's not really anything bad that I'm gonna mention. I'm just gonna mention all the good parts, because for what it was a very good special. So basically, like I said, they bring back Jason, Tommy, and Kimberly, but they don't appear unmorphed, and they also bring Trini back, but she's not unmorphed, obviously. But they use actual voice clips from the original series, mostly just the fighting grunts, and also Trini at one point at the beginning of the special yells Billy's name, and that is audio taken from one of the early episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. And also, the story was pretty solid, I have to say. I mean, it's like a cheesy Power Rangers premise, but it's extended. It's an hour long, and like I said, there's a lot of seriousness and emotional content in there too. And basically, so the whole story basically starts off like this. It starts off with a huge battle, and there's a robot version of Rita Repulsa who is somehow here. We don't exactly know right away why, but she's also brought back two of her old monsters, the Minotaur monster and the Snizzard monster, and given them new powers. And basically, at the beginning of the special, Billy is fighting Robo Rita alone, but the other Rangers come in to save him, and basically this Robo Rita's not playing around. She straight up is using her staff to try and unalive the Rangers, and she aims for Billy, but Trini gets in the way, and Trini is blasted, sent over a cliff, and is basically disintegrated, and Trini is gone. Trini Kwan is, no longer with us, and obviously that is due to the real world passing of Thuy Trang back in 2001. This whole special is a tribute to her and her legacy, the legacy of Thuy Trang and the legacy of Trini, the Yellow Ranger, and what happens with the Yellow Ranger mantle. So basically, Trini is destroyed by Robo Rita, and then it cuts to the funeral, or after the funeral, where Billy and Zach are arguing about what to tell Trini's daughter, Min, played by Charlie Kirsch, and Charlie Kirsch is incredible in this special. She is the focal point. She is the character the audience is following, and she is incredible. Just the emotion that she exerts in this special is incredible, especially in the first scene where we see her. Billy and Zach are arguing about what to tell her. Billy's saying, we need to tell Min that we're Power Rangers and that her mom was just killed by Rita. And Zach's like, no, Zordon had his rules. We cannot tell her that we're Power Rangers. But Billy's like, no, the rules can be broken for good reason. And that, of course, that is also a callback to when Rocky, Adam, and Aisha first learned of the Rangers' identities. Before they became Rangers, they learned of the Rangers' identities because they had to save Billy's life and remove his helmet. So that's a good, again, saying good reasons, that's a good reason. But basically, they start arguing louder and louder, and then Billy says she needs to know that Rita Repulsa killed her mom. And then they turn, and it just cuts to Min, and she's has all this emotion on her face. She's just like, and then just runs off, and it just this whole emotional scene. And then it cuts to a year later, and Zach has moved into Trini's old house and is, I'm guessing, like the legal guardian of Min. We do not learn who Min's father is, but I think it was either Zach or Billy at one point that said it has always been just Min and Trini. So obviously, whoever her father was, the father is not in the photo or not in the picture. And so Zach, I guess, has taken legal guardianship of Min and is basically just trying to, give her that parental figure that she needs. And we see right away that Min is very skilled in martial arts. She's been using her mother's style, the Mantis style, which we had seen. The Mantis style, which we had seen Trini use in the original series. She's been training in that. And basically, they tell her everything. They say, "Oh, we're the Power Rangers. Your mom was the Yellow Ranger. She was murdered by Rita Repulsa, this robotic version of her." And basically, it's been a year, and I guess basically after the whole first battle scene, Robo Rita kind of just goes off-world, like off Earth, and has not been seen for another year. So basically, she's been working on her plan, but Min has been training and wants to be a Power Ranger. She wants to take up her mother's powers and become the Yellow Ranger, and to help to destroy Robo Rita. But of course, Zach and Billy are like, no, you're a kid. You're not a ranger. You can't be throwing yourself into danger like this. And of course, they butt heads about that, as many other parent and child ranger families have been. So basically, 1 year after Trini is destroyed by Rita, Zach and Min go to meet up with the other Rangers at the cemetery to pay respect. But Robo Rita returns with Snizzard and Minotaur, and basically Snizzard uses his powers to paralyze Jason, Kimberly, and Tommy, and turn them into and shrink them down, and basically turn them into action figures. I mean, they're action figures within the show, but they're supposed to be just shrunken down, and basically put into this machine to be used for Rita's plan, which we later learn, of course, is to open a time portal, go back in time, and basically erase the whole 30-year journey that Power Rangers have been on. So, after the three Rangers are taken, they go back to the command center, which is now in the basement or underground underneath Billy's company building, Cranston Tech. Billy is now back on Earth and is a tech mogul, and has been building tech for, I'm assuming, other companies and Ranger other Rangers and Ranger allies, which is where Adam and Aisha come in. Billy's been making tech for them, for the stuff that they've been doing, and basically under this thing is a new command center with Alpha 9. Yeah, so the Alpha in the trailer is officially confirmed to be Alpha 9. And Alpha 9, and it's basically been working with Billy to send tech to other Rangers and basically trying to find Robo Rita and destroy her. And at this point, they initiate what's called the Bandora Protocol. Bandora is a callback to, in the Japanese version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger. Bandora is the name of Rita Repulsa in that Japanese series. So that was a good callback to her original name. Basically, they call it the Bandora Protocol, which means for all Rangers that are available to go to their assigned stations and basically fight off a gigantic group of putty patrollers that have been dispatched around the world by Rita. And it's at this point where Rocky and Kat are called in, and we learn, from the preview clips that were released, that Billy and Alpha 9 have been experimenting with the grid and basically create secondary dino coins, Tyrannosaurus and Pterodactyl coins, for Rocky and Kat to use, because their ninja powers have been long destroyed. And even though Zack says, no, too much of the same power can be dangerous, they're needed, so that they basically are brought back to action as the Red and Pink Rangers. And then basically going back to Min after the whole thing at the cemetery. Min's like, I want to fight, I've been training, I'm ready, I want to be the Yellow Ranger. And of course, again, Billy and Zack are like, no, you're not a Ranger, we can't lose you, blah blah blah, all that, same kind of simple plot line for that, about they don't want her to be a Ranger because they don't want her to get hurt. But basically, Min throws it in Billy's face that it was because of him that Trini is gone. And we learn in a flashback that a year before, right before Robo Rita killed Trini, that Billy and Alpha 8 were working on locating energy particles from Zordon's Z-Wave, which is what the fans have been calling Zordon's little energy wave from the end of In Space, but now it's officially confirmed as the Z-Wave. And basically we learn that the particles within the Z-Wave didn't actually fully disappear. There's still some remnants of it, some remnants of it out there in the universe. And basically what Billy wants to do is find those particles and basically bring Zordon back to life. And so he and Alpha 8 were basically scanning for these particles. They found some particles, but then they learned too late that it wasn't, that not only was it Zordon's particles that were still around, but basically the evil energy that was in Rita is still around, because we learned that not only was Rita, Repulsa, and Lord Zed purified and turned into humans, but that evil energy that was within them, that was purified by the Z-Wave, didn't actually disappear. It just went out into the universe and has been hanging around in space for over 30 years or 25 years or whatever. and basically they bring back the evil energy that was inside Rita. It goes into Zordon's tube and then shoots out and enters Alpha 8's body and basically transforms Alpha 8 into Robo Rita. And then it leads into the first battle we saw at the beginning of the special. And so basically, Billy is, obviously not feeling very good about that, but, they have to figure out a way to defeat Robo Rita. So then, going back to Min, she's at home, she's angry, she's training, and basically she sees on her phone that putties have been attacking the Angel Grove Gym and Juice Bar, and basically takes up her mother's morpher and goes to fight the putties. Now, then we cut to that scene in the juice bar where basically she's fighting all the putties by herself. She tries to morph into the Yellow Ranger, but the morpher does not work. So then she is thrown around by the putties, and then that is where the second preview clip comes in of Rocky and Zach coming in to save her at the juice bar in that second preview clip that was released. And basically, all three go back to the command center, and Zach is angry with Min because she took the morpher and attempted to be a ranger. But she, again, insists that she's ready and that someone needs to get justice for her mother and get justice for all that has gone wrong. And basically, Zach tells her that the reason the morpher didn't work for her is because she doesn't want justice. She wants revenge. She wants to destroy Robo Rita because obviously she killed her mother, but she doesn't want to do it because it's the right thing to do. She wants to do it because she's angry and she wants revenge. And I guess the morpher or the morphing grid sees that she wants revenge, not justice, so the morpher does not work. Basically, Billy, Zach, Kat, and Rocky use some tech that Billy made to turn invisible and go to Rita's palace and begin the final battle. But of course, Min stays behind with Alpha, but eventually uses the same tech to turn invisible and takes the morpher again and actually goes to try and destroy Snizzard and the Minotaur, because at some point in the special, the Rangers were able to take them out of commission for a while, but now Min wants more revenge, so she takes the morpher and tries to go to destroy Snizzard and Minotaur, but again, the morpher again does not work because she still is not doing it for the right reason. And it's at this point that Robo Rita appears and kidnaps Min and brings her to the Moon Palace. And this is where the other four Rangers already are, and you see that Rita has now captured way more Rangers than she had before. She's captured some of the Lost Galaxy Rangers. She's kidnapped Tanya, the Yellow Zeo Ranger. She's kidnapped some of the Beast Morphers Rangers, the Phantom Ranger. Basically, she's kidnapped all these Rangers, and they're in the machine powering up the time portal. And it's at this point where, the Rangers are caught by Robo Rita, who has captured Min, and basically starts to throw the Rangers around and defeating them. It's at this point where Robo Rita again tries to destroy Billy the same way she destroyed Trini by blasting him with her staff, but Min is able to get loose from her captors and takes the blast for him. So she is hit by Rita's blast, and of course she is not fully destroyed by the blast, but she is knocked unconscious. And is at this point where the morpher starts glowing, and she sees memories of her mother as when she was a teenager as a Power Ranger, and basically learns all these memories of her mother and what she did as a Ranger. And it's at that point that the morpher finally sees that because she tried to save Billy, that she is worthy of being a Power Ranger, and she becomes the brand new Yellow Ranger. And of course, they save the day. Rita almost opens the portal, but they're able to stop her in time. There's a big Megazord fight with Snizzard, who grows, and there's actually a really cool scene where it's just Billy and just Min at the start of the Megazord battle, where it's just the two of them fighting in the Megazord, and actually Billy is in Jason's seat, or the Red Ranger position. He's sitting there in the red, or right up front, and it's a pretty cool scene. And then, of course, they win the day. Roborita is fully destroyed, and all the Rangers are saved. That all the Rangers that were shrunken down were saved, and are basically being sent to the planet Aquitar so that they can be rejuvenated and brought and turned back to normal. And basically that's where the special ends. But we also learn what Aisha and Adam have been doing. They are now part of SPA, which is probably either the first iteration or an offshoot of SPD, because as stated earlier, we are very close to the SPD timeline. The series of SPD took place in 2025. It is now 2023, so it is very close to that time in the main timeline. So, and we also learned that Adam and Aisha were on the way to the Sirius system, or the planet Sirius, to fight the Trubian Empire. So the invasion of the Trubian Empire has officially started, so we're on that way, in that trajectory, with Power to SPD and all that. So it's really cool that they're starting to bring together those plot lines and finally merge them into one. We also see a few callbacks to some other Mighty Morphin era Easter eggs. There is a point where we see that Bulk and Skull have started their own food company, because at one point in the park or in the city of Angel Grove, when the putties are attacking civilians, before the four Rangers get there, someone is thrown through a billboard, and the billboard says Bulkmeyer and Skullovich Food Company. So they obviously, Bulk and Skull went into business together, because the last time we saw them was in Power Rangers Samurai, and Skull struck it rich. So, and of course, they obviously went into business together, so that was great. And we also hear again about Kat and Tommy's son, JJ, again confirming that they have the son, JJ, and basically that was before Jason David Frank passed away. He helped create a comic book called Power Rangers Soul of the Dragon, and basically showed Tommy as an older man, and basically he had a grown-up son named JJ who worked for SPD and eventually became the new SPD Green Ranger and all that. But we learned that and then of course JJ is also mentioned in the Dimensions in Danger episode from Ninja Steel. So we hear again that JJ is still around. And so that's good continuity there. And also, I don't know how many people noticed this, but in the cemetery scene, there is a tombstone in the cemetery that has the name Harvey Garvey. And Harvey Garvey was a character in one of the episodes in season 2. The Rangers go on to a talk show to learn about the importance of education, and the host of that show was Harvey Garvey. They go on the Harvey Garvey show, so obviously that is a callback to that episode there. So yeah, basically this was a great episode, and there's also a great, towards the end of the episode, there's a tribute to both Jason David Frank and Twee Trang. They play a scene from an episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I think it was the end of Green No More Part 2, when Tommy loses his powers as the Green Ranger for good. And we see Kimberly, Amy Jo Johnson, playing a song. She sings a song, and it shows, all the Rangers sitting together and singing and having fun, and it cuts to photos of Twee Trang and Jason David Frank, and basically says rest in peace, and that's where that ends. And then of course at the end of the episode, there is a new version of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme song with a new Ron Wasserman score, and basically that's where it ends. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this. This as a fan of the old show, as a fan of the show for a long time, I was very impressed. And I really enjoyed it. And if you haven't seen it yet, please go watch it. It also makes me excited for Cosmic Fury, and because at the end Billy is mentioned as going back into space and going to see Cestria, who he on Aquitar, who he went to go be with at the end of Zeo. So we could maybe see David Yost in Cosmic Fury, at least for one episode. That makes me very excited to see that, because maybe that'll happen. But I have to say that I'm going to be biased. Like, I'm not even going to rate this episode, but I'm just going to say that it was a really strong episode. I loved it. I will definitely be watching it again, and I cannot wait to see where the character of Min and where the characters all go from here. And yeah, that was my sort of review / babble on Power Rangers, or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, once and always. I'm Power Rangers at Super Sentai News, and I want to thank you all for listening or watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.